Today on Cityline, she's poised to become the first person who is both black and a woman to hold the title of acting mayor of Boston. An afternoon with Boston City Council President Kim Janey. Good afternoon, I'm Karen Holmes Ward and welcome to Cityline. This afternoon, we're talking with a history maker who will lead the city of Boston once Mayor Walsh is officially confirmed as Secretary of Labor. She's a native Bostonian with a record of community activism and has been a central figure at City Hall. She's now serving her second term on the Boston City Council. Welcome, Boston City Council President Kim Janey. How are you this afternoon?
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Karen. It's great to be here.
Kim, next week you're going to be taking the oath of office to become just the 55th mayor of Boston. You're going to be thrust into a local spotlight, a national spotlight as well. What does this historic moment feel like for you?
It's surreal. It's a wonderful day in our city, a wonderful day in our country. Just thinking about, you know, my childhood and everything that I've seen in this city, everything I've experienced. And to see for the first time in the 200-year history of having a mayor in the city of Boston, that for the first time it will be someone who is African American and someone who is a woman, is truly exciting. It's a wonderful day in the city of Boston, and I'm truly honored and humbled.
So our crystal ball tells us that you'll probably be taking the oath of office on next Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yes, yes. It's great. It's wonderful. I'm really excited about what this means for our city, how far our city has come, and we certainly still have work to do, but it is a really exciting time for our city. So I couldn't be more thrilled to be stepping into this role. I love my city. I've given and served in many ways, you know, not just as a city councilor, but have a career in service to the city of Boston. And I'm really thrilled to be able to continue to give to the city that I love.
Now, you've been serving in the Boston City Council since 2017, representing District 7, which covers Roxbury, parts of the South End, Dorchester, the Fenway area. And when you became council president, it was just the first time someone from Roxbury has served in the council president's role since the mid-1980s.
Yes, since Bruce Bowling. So just excited to follow in those footsteps. Bruce Bowling was an amazing advocate for District 7, certainly did incredible things when he was a city councilor, and since then we know that the school department is named in his honor, and so it's been a long time coming and really powerful to have the council presidency rooted in Roxbury, because Roxbury has been, I think, in many ways a neighborhood that has certainly a proud history and deep connections to the city overall, but there are also some challenges in terms of who's been left out of the prosperity of the city of Boston. And so to have the council presidency rooted in my home neighborhood is pretty thrilling. And now to step into the office of mayor and to be a mayor who is from Roxbury and lives in Roxbury is really thrilling as well.
The city council is more diverse than ever before, women, people of color. What does the diverse makeup of the city council say to you about a changing Boston?
Oh, you know, it has been thrilling to see the number of women, in particular, women of color, who have run for office and won their seats. You know, I'm thinking of Ayanna Pressley, thinking of Rachel Rollins, and it suggests to me that, you know, our city has come a long way, and our city is ready for leadership that has unique perspectives. So my lived experience is very different than the 54 mayors that have come before me, for sure. And I bring that lens. I bring that unique lens as a woman. I bring that lens as a woman of color, as someone who has grew up in poverty in our city. You know, my mom was on welfare and food stamps when we were growing up. You know, my first apartment as a young single mom myself was a Section 8 apartment. And so to now be in a position to bring that lens to the city as we think about policy, as we think about all the ways that we need to serve the residents of the city of Boston. I think it's pretty powerful.
Since Mayor Walsh's nomination, many more people have jumped into the race for City Hall, and 3 women that you serve with on the City Council have already announced, I have to ask, will you become one of the candidates vying for a permanent role as mayor?
I have been, really focused on the transition, laser-like focused on the transition. I will obviously give this some serious thought, and I know a lot of people are running, but my immediate focus is to run the city. I will make any announcements about future plans in the near future, and certainly we'll let you know what I'm thinking, Karen.
Okay, all right. So as mayor, let's talk about some of the things you plan to do once you're in office. So as mayor, how do you plan to continue to serve the citizens of Boston as we first continue to battle public health issue number 1, the coronavirus?
Yes, and I think, that is certainly the immediate focus. I think about this in terms of recovery, reopening, and renewal. So obviously with recovery, we have to continue to make sure that we are listening to the science, listening to the data, that we are rolling out the vaccine in a way that is equitable. We know that communities of color, particularly poor communities of color, have been hard hit and disproportionately impacted in terms of the confirmed cases, in terms of the deaths that we've seen in our city, vulnerable populations of seniors, people with health concerns, and we know that a lot of those disparities live in poor communities of color. So we have to get the vaccine into people's arms, make sure that there's equitable access and confidence in the vaccine. So that is incredibly important in terms of anything else that we're able to do in the city.
And in fact, we have some data here. According to the Massachusetts Department of Public Health in Suffolk County, almost 800,000 people have been vaccinated, statewide almost 1 million, but the vaccine distribution, of course, in underrepresented communities still remains unequal and behind the rest of the state. How can we get more people vaccinated?
Yeah, well, one issue is supply. So we definitely need, as we make more and more individuals and groups eligible for the vaccine, we have to make sure that the supply meets that demand. And that, is coming from our federal government through our state government and then into municipalities. So working closely with the Baker administration to lift up equitable access, making sure at the city front that we're doing all that we can. Just a couple of weeks ago, I had an opportunity to visit a mobile vaccination clinic. And it is important to meet people where they are. I know we have these mass vaccination site setups. There's one at Reggie Lewis. Fenway Park will be transitioning over to the Heinz Convention Center, and those are great and can serve lots of people. But we also have to go where people are and where there are trusted relationships. So I'm thinking, definitely BHA housing, and I did that with my staff a couple of weeks ago. Had a wonderful conversation with one of the seniors there who, had some questions, had some concerns about the vaccine. And after speaking with her and making sure that she connected with the doctors on site to get her questions answered, she then went and got the vaccine. So it was incredible to see that people, even who had questions and concerns, were willing to get the vaccine. So important, particularly for our seniors. And so we have to go into more senior housing. We have to make sure we're going to community centers, lifting up places where people have trusted relationships, like the faith-based community, and making sure that the vaccine is available there, and that we continue to promote ways that people can get the vaccine if they have questions, making sure that those are being answered. We have to make sure that there is good information so that people can make informed decisions and make the right choice for them.
All right, when we return, my conversation continues with Boston City Council President and soon-to-be acting Mayor of Boston, Kim Janey.